Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. If you're new here, my name is Mitchell. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about freedom is vital to love and attraction. So I do these YouTube lives every Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern time, Saturdays at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. And if you guys find this video content of value, please show your appreciation by donating any amount that you feel is equal to the value of this video. So I appreciate y'all. Appreciate it. Zach is first. The host is late. I was late, but it doesn't mean you can't stay in though. All right. So yeah, I'm trying to recalibrate my brain from the other live we just did earlier. Just what's up, Tracy? So freedom is vital. All right. So let's talk about freedom. Why is freedom so important? But before we do that, let's talk about a recap about ignoring your inner truth. So that's the recap episode I'm be talking about. You gotta start from a good place. I hit the first like. Thank you, man. So let's start with this. Which is this quote by I can't pronounce her last name. Shadi. All right. People who truly believes that their life is meaningful tend to tell stories defined by growth, empowerment, and hope. And so what does that really mean, right? It means that most people, if you really listen to the language and what they're saying, right? What's up, Rosie? What's up, everybody? If you listen to the language, I feel like this is a race. But anyways, people that what do people really say? You know what I mean? If you listen to what people really say, and are they usually in a better mood, or are they like just always talking about things that didn't go their way? Usually kind of coming from a place that is vibrating from a lower vibration or lower energy, depending on what you want to talk about. Get your pen and paper out. But yeah, people who truly believes that their life is more meaningful. Okay, meaningful life. What's up, Sarah? Meaningful life. They tell stories about growth, empowerment, how they overcome whatever obstacles that they're dealing with. You know what I mean? It's just understanding where your struggles, and it's like, hey, but that didn't stop me, and this is who I am, and you still have like this positive outlook in life, and that's very attractive, right? So if y'all here today and you're having a good time, hit that like button, share it to some of y'all friends, appreciate it. But in the meantime, let's move on to the other recap, which is, the story that you consistently tell yourself will either contaminate you or it will refine you, right? So it really depends on what are you constantly telling yourself. And if you're living this life where you don't think your life is really that meaningful, you kind of just cruise through life, you don't really do much, and you just kind of like, is it TS? Hi, TS. So you have to find something in your life that is meaningful to you. Otherwise, what are you waking up for, right? Are you waking up just to make a paycheck, or do you feel like you're set in this earth to do something, and whatever that is, move towards that? Are you excited about moving forward with life? You know what I mean? And still doing the things that brings you joy. And so that's why I loved about that quote by Jim Rohn, which is, happiness doesn't happen by chance. It happens by choice. So you have to choose your life. You have to plan out your life on what you want. Now, you can never really connect the dots moving forward. It's very, very, like, you can't predict the future. But what you can do is, after 5-10, it's until after years later, that's when you could connect the dots, and you're like, wow, this is all the obstacles that I've been through, all these type of challenges, right? This helped me grow to the person I want to be, right? A life that's more meaningful. So do you want a meaningful life? What do you like doing, right? Continue doing that, especially if you're so good at it. Like, why not? I wake up every day because I have the most wonderful gift, my son, and I want to show him the world and show him how great the world is, right? And so, hey, and that's what success is, right? By Earl Nightingale, too. So that's another good quote. Success is a progressive realization of a worthy ideal, right? And for men, if you copying this down, let's say it again. Success is a progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And you could go search that up on Google as well. So, um, helping people, it seems like no one will help them, right? And absolutely, if you, that's success can be anything that you want, right? So for me, success is helping people, whether it's in a form of, hey, maybe you know what, I'm a little out of shape. My doctor told me that if I don't lose weight, that I could, I'll be gone, or I just want to be healthier. You know what I mean? Or hey, something's wrong. I don't know what's going on. Um, I just, my girlfriend just broke up with me. I'd be like, dude, and you're training with me, dude. I got you, man. I got you, right? You want to train with me? You want to lift some weights? You want to look good? Look, before we work out, I know working out is good for you and being healthy, but who you doing this for, right? So I get to really dive deep into the mind. What's up, Tracy? Long time no see. Um, Success is a progressive realization of a worthy ideal, So what that basically means is success could mean anything that you want. Success could be being the best mother that you could be for your kids. Success could be doing whatever that you want. That is considered successful, even though it's not considered successful to other people, especially when it comes to conformity and social norms. Like, most people won't think that this is successful, but for me, it fulfills me. And if I could do this and I could continue on through like years and years and years and decades, like that's another thing too, which like my coach, he taught me, which was he wished he considered things and think in terms of decades. And that is another way of moving towards success, knowing where you want. You can't connect the dots moving forward, but that's where you want to be. And you keep you have an aim. You're not sure exactly, because you can't really plan. Like, there's only so much that you could plan, but after planning, it's like, well, things will never go your way, right? Think about how much people stress over things don't go the way that they want, right? Yeah, it's first of all, if you're stressing so much about that, and I talked about this before about anxiety, if you're always feeling anxious about something, it's usually because you're thinking too much into the future or you're holding on to the past. That's where anxiety comes in, right? The price of success is hard work, dedication at the job, job at hand, and the determination that whether win or lose, we have to apply our best. Yep, exactly. And so, have you ever been in a relationship where you got out of the relationship and you considered like, this feeling sucks, but you literally did your best. You did your best, and there's nothing, like, you wouldn't change anything about the things you would have done. Of course, yeah, you could improve, absolutely. And I think everybody should always improve. But you did the best that you can at that time, and you do not regret anything that you did at all, because you put your best foot forward at all times. Now, there were some flaws, there were some things that you kind of missed, but maybe it's because you were just unaware. Maybe it's because you just didn't know that, hey, I didn't know that men that understands women don't argue with them. Well, I was always arguing with her, and that's part of the reason why, like, I kind of like dropped her interest, and she's like, she doesn't want to be around me, like, it's like, so if you're not aware of that, how do you know? If you don't know what you don't know. So if you got out of a relationship and you were like, damn, like, that was the best relationship I ever had, I put in my best foot forward, but yet things still turned out not the best, but you know what? It's okay, right? You communicate like adults, right? Respecting each other's boundaries. And sometimes, things just don't work the way you want it, but and what real love is like, you still want them to be happy, even though it's not with you. And so that really has to come from a very collaborative place, from a very loving place, right? It takes a lot of courage to do that, because if you don't have courage, if people that lacks courage to do things usually finds reasons to blame other people for doing a whole bunch of things. It's like, oh, it's the government's fault. Oh, it's my friends. Oh, it's so much easier to do. Yeah, I know it's a lot easier. It's much more difficult to work on yourself, right? And that's why people do more to avoid pain than they gain pleasure. And everything you do is to avoid pain or to gain pleasure. But more people, they do more to avoid the pain. So the pain of going to the gym, the pain of eating healthier and eating better. And as you can tell, Mitchell's breaking out. I got cold sores and acne all over my face. Well, some. And this is only one day, okay? Now imagine I did that for 7 days straight. I would be um besides the point. Besides the point. So let's move on. So it contaminates your mind or refine you, right? So be careful what you pour into your mental factory. But the story that you tell yourself, you have to believe it. Otherwise, if you don't believe it, then you have this cognitive dissonance, right? This cognitive dissonance where you have this tension going on in your mind. You're like, this is not what's working for me because I really don't believe it. So saying things like, oh, I'm the best, or I believe in myself, when you truly don't, then start from there. Start from, I don't know, I'm not confident because I haven't done it, but I just need to allow myself to do it many, many times so that once I do become better, well, guess what? It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time, right? And you will find yourself little by little, like just knocking things down little at a time. You just success. And that's what's the beauty of it, is by enjoying the process, right? So tell yourself the truth. You're just not good because you haven't done it, right? So let's put me in perspective, right? I've been dancing a lot longer than I have teaching relationships. Even though I always was interested about relationships, I wasn't good at it in the beginning. But then I was like, hey, you know what? I have to start somewhere. And when you start, there's always gonna have people that's going to tell you you're not good enough, especially when you start. Of course, I just started. I don't know everything, but I have some experiences, but I can't experience everything. So I learn from successful people that have done it before or been through it. So success leaves clues, right? Now moving on. Let's talk about freedom and why freedom is vital to love and attraction, which is today's episode, right? Freedom is allowing, right? Allowing them to come and go as they please while setting and enforcing healthy boundaries. So if you're a guy in a relationship, heterosexual, I'm just going to keep it simple, right? If you're a guy in a relationship and you want to make sure that she has all the freedom. The reason why is because, number one, especially if she's a lady, a woman of beauty, she's going to get a lot of male attention. You know that. So what does that mean? It means that there's going to be a lot of male orbiters. And you don't really know what her character is. You don't know if she's just like keeping them around to have them as entertainment because maybe she hasn't really gotten any male attention, or maybe she has, but she constantly needs validation from other people in order to feel better about, like, you don't know what you don't know. But what you can do as a guy or person involved is put your best foot forward. Because as a guy, you're supposed to be on your mission. You're supposed to be on your purpose. You're supposed to be grounded, right? Emotionally regulated. You don't lose your shit, but you also don't take shit from people. But how does that work? Like, it's finding that fine line between, like, I can't blow up at them, but it just means that I need to educate myself. I need to educate myself to a point where usually if you're angry, and behind anger is fear, and the fear is you don't want to lose them, but also at the same time, life is pressuring you, and that's why it's pushing you towards anger, resentment. You want to just blow things out of proportion and start yelling at them. But if you educate yourself, you wouldn't have to yell. You just be like, nah, I'm not dealing with this. Or maybe you just don't have anything to say right now. Walk away, and then come back to it later. There's always another time to talk, right? So that's why I really like the whole stoicism, the stoic approach, which is kind of like, it's being indifferent. It's not saying that you don't care, but it's being able to regulate how you feel and not just blow shit out of the proportion. I also learned this in the Love and Respect book. I don't think that's weird at all. But yeah, setting and enforcing healthy boundaries, that's very important. It means that you allow her to come and go as you please, and you should never try to change somebody. Never try to change who they are. So if she's out there and she likes male attention, All you can do as a guy is, do I want that in my life? And if you don't, and you don't want to keep sleeping with one eye open, then by all means, hey, you know what? I see that you like going out. I don't really like going out too much, but you also have a lot of guys blowing up your phone, right? I don't know what you're doing, but hey, that's a little bit too much for me. I kind of want a girl that's more, more loyal, whatever. I'm assuming this is like you're exclusive now, right? Because if you're not exclusive, then hey, play ball. But you're exclusive. Yeah, you can't change somebody. So you allow them to be who they are and you just walk away from it. But you're setting and enforcing your healthy boundaries, but you're not trying to change them. Hey, who you talking to? No, you could do whatever you want, but hey, I just don't want to participate in that, right? So, freedom is your compelling reason not to message her to find out where she's at or what she's doing, what she's up to, right? And this is very important because you don't want to just keep blowing up her phone, okay? And it doesn't matter what kind of phase of the relationship this is. Maybe if she has high interest, it might sound cute or it might feel like, oh, it's adorable in the beginning, but after a while it gets a little played out, right? It's like, oh, hey, what you do? Imagine every single day, hey, what you doing, what you're up to, right? At the expense of your insecurity, jealousy, and you being all anxious. It's very unattractive. And that's why women, they love freedom. They need a guy that is strong emotionally, physically, right? And I've seen so many big tough guys that could lift, like they will fuck me up at the gym. Like they could bench double my weight, if not more. You know what I mean? But when I see them around like girls, they just collapse. And the reason why is because they have not learned this. They haven't tapped into this. They just think, oh, I need to work on getting stronger. And if that's what you want to do, absolutely. But you still got to get stronger in different areas of your life. The best way to communicate how you feel is also able to understand the person instead of saying what you're doing makes me uncomfortable. Yeah, you gotta be specific. Same thing about like apologies too, right? Hey, I'm sorry that I didn't mean it like that, and here's why. Like you gotta explain why you're sorry. I'm sorry for doing this, and this is what I caused you, right? Be specific with your apology. Be specific about everything that you're going to be talking about, right? So, yeah, and that's why it's like most people, it's like a lot of things that I say, it sounds like it contradicts. It contradicts, right? But it's not everything's like set in stone, right? It's more of a philosophy. The philosophy is, look, if they aren't showing any interest in you, then why would you want to spend time with a person that's not reciprocating the same values or same interests, right? The level of enthusiasm. So it's like, why would I want to be a part of that? I value myself and I will put my values somewhere else if that's not what you want. So that's okay. But it's not being upset and being pity about it. All right, Sarah, have a good night. So, being a jealous person, right? So jealousy, anxious, and insecurities. So instead of having a good relationship, instead have a good relationship with jealousy. Have a good relationship with jealousy, because jealousy, it's an emotion that you have, right? And I spoke about that earlier in my previous life, but jealousy isn't how we react to what the other person does. It's how we feel about ourselves. It's what we project, right? It's how we feel about ourselves. So that changes how we react about what the other person does, right? So as long as you have a better relationship with jealousy, if you understand that, hey, yo, maybe I'm just an insecure person, because I used to be a very insecure guy. But it wasn't until I started learning and I was like, yo, Mitchell, I have to become better. I have to become better because I need confidence. I need courage, right? Taking action. So I started taking the action and started improving myself in different areas of my life. And I was like, wow, like it's making my life a lot better. And then on top of that, having a better mindset about things. So I started seeing things as half full instead of half empty. And then I started approaching life and people with a more positive attitude. So it started attracting more people, more better people in my life. And so my mindset literally changed. But it's not what I thought about. It started with thought, but thoughts, creates emotions, emotion creates feelings, and feelings create drives behaviors. So yes, it did start from thought, but it needs to be driven by action. So no matter what you think about, it's how you want to approach it, right? And so that's why having the right person with you or around you that supports you in what you want to do, or do it alone because you know this is the right step to approach. This is how you're going to become a much better person, and you're just going to naturally attract better people into your life, right? So trusting the other person was a huge one, right? So this is part of how I overcame like insecurity and jealousy. I started trusting myself. I started believing in myself, because I didn't believe in myself before. I was like, oh, she's probably talking to another guy. Look at her. She's all smiling on her phone, right? It's like, it comes across as I'm insecure about myself. And I was insecure about myself. And I had to realize that, but it took a little, it was a little embarrassing in the beginning, but that's okay, because I had to be a little bit vulnerable. And being vulnerable, like I said, is like a superpower. And if you learn to hone that and you learn to use that into your advantage, you would grow immensely, right? So, but overcoming the jealousy, I started trusting in myself. I started trusting in other people, having and starting having the sense of self-worth. And what really changed is I started becoming a little bit more confident in myself, knowing that I could do it. And if I'm not good at it, I'll try it. I never said I was the best, but I'll do it. And if it's something that I truly want to do, well, guess what? I'm going to do it, right? And it all started, this all starts from being aware of what I can and cannot control. I can't control other people, nor can I control the weather. Okay, I can't be upset. I can't control traffic lights. There's a lot of things I can't control. And the reason why, and control is an illusion. So if you think you got control over something, you don't. Okay, you just don't. So once I started learning that there are certain things that I could control, like, hey, maybe it's the certain type of people that I put myself in that situation, so maybe I shouldn't be there. So if I'm not there, then I'm not surrounded by that. And it just, my day is spent doing better things, at least what I consider better, right? So freedom displays a lot of strength, especially when it comes to females, right? What we see, like what guys see in beauty when we look at a lady, is like, this is what is very attractive to a lady, to a woman, because it's like, wow, this guy, he has a lot of self-control. But she's also thinking like, well, how come he's not really talking to me or blowing up my phone like all the other guys? Why is he so mysterious, right? And that's why mystery is one of the biggest things for people. It's like the mystery. And it's always better when she doesn't really know exactly how you feel about her, but she kind of has an idea, like, oh, does he like me? Does he like me? I think he does. Well, he does show me a little interest, but at the same time, I don't know. I'm not really sure. So she's more invested, so she wants to find out. But, nowadays you see people online, all they talk about is like, oh, this is how you get her to want to do it. It's like, it's not really coming from a genuine place, right? So that's why it's like, this is a philosophy. You start with the right mindset, with the right approach in mind, where you're not trying to manipulate them, but instead you're doing it because, hey, I'm not talking to you because I'm busy. I'm busy because I'm doing things. But I do value you and I do like you, but let's schedule a time so we could see each other. Maybe we could go on a date. We could go eat over here and see what happens and see where it goes from there, right? And you're not really giving out that needy, desperate energy of, I just want to get into your pants, but it's more like, we're having a good time, and why should we end this good time over here if you want to have a bottle of wine at my house, and just so happen you wanted to lay down and have indoor, late night Olympics in my bed, right? So it's like, why, why? So it's the right approach. Same thing when it goes to like guys that go out to clubs to have fun, but really they're just trying to go out and try to get a girl. Like you probably get a girl, and if you're good at it, but charm, remember, like charm requires the presence of another person, right? Your character is what's really important. Your character is what defines, that's your destiny. If you're a piece of shit human being, then life is going to treat you like shit. But if you're a person with good values, good character, integrity, you're humble, you're open to learn. It's like if you just possess some of those, you're already in a much better place, right? So it depends on what you want. Now, freedom is vital to love and attraction, and this is where projection comes into play. Where the more beautiful she is, right? So guys, we fall in love with our eyes. Ladies, you fall in love with your ears. So the more pretty she is, right? Maybe she got that body you like. Maybe it's her face. Maybe it's her smile. Maybe it's her eyes. Maybe it's her personality. Maybe she's just like very feminine. That's what you like. Whatever it is, whatever you're attracted to, you're be careful not to project all that onto her. The character of a person defines who 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 he or she is as a person. Yeah, that's why, like, coach, he always says like character is destiny. Your character is your destiny, right? um but anyways, like, guys that project how they feel, like, oh damn, she's hot, right? They just like, hey, yo. That's one thing I didn't understand too. I was like, hey, if there's a hot girl, I get some friends that are like, hey, they gotta be weird about it. Hey, I'm like, yo, just be like, hey, yo, hey, she's cute. I'm like, yeah, that's dope. But you do this, hey, yo, and you got that stiff neck. Hey, go check her out. I'm like, that's already giving me this weird vibe. Like, I can't be around you, right? I can't. You're gonna ruin everybody's chances. You know what I mean? Good points and funny too. Thank you, Tracy. Yeah, it's been a minute. But yeah, the more beautiful she is, it's easy to project how you feel. Like, you start putting her on a pedestal. So that's why, like, if you really look into that person's character and use that as their currency, see, like, hey, maybe she is pretty. She does take care of herself, but what else does she have to offer? What else does she have? And if you could be like, well, she has not only beauty, but does she have the brains behind it, right? Does she have good values, right? What does she value? Does it align with your values? If your values is, I like to be healthy, but she like, or you, let's just say you both met at the gym, so it's easy. You could tell she works out, good values, right? Things in common. But also you start looking at, like, well, does she like to party a lot? But let's just say you're more of an introvert. You just like to sit at home and watch movies and call that a night. But she likes to go out and party all the time. Like, is that someone that you really want to align with? Is that truly that person that you want to align with? Knowledge is attract. Well, see, also this too, Rosie. It's when it comes to understanding, I feel like I only know this much about understanding women. Okay, I feel like there's so much more to understand, but understanding that men who understands women don't argue with them, and men that understands women are loved by women. It's like you're speaking their language, right? So when I go and approach, or when I go and understand, I'm not really trying to fix your problems unless you're asking me to. I'm like, oh, okay, she wants to talk. Let her talk. So when she's talking, it's just like, Mitchell, what are good questions that you can start asking? What are questions that you can ask, right? Because, hey, if she wants to talk about it, if there's some issues that's going on in her mind and she wants to resolve it, I'm there not trying to fix it. But as a guy, naturally, I still want to fix shit. I still do. I'm like, shit, I want to, like, you should probably just do this. It will make your life better. She's like, no, I don't, you're not listening. I'm like, okay, all right. Don't argue with that. Just understand. Start talking. Let her talk. The more she talks, that's how she fixes her problems. So yeah, like little stuff like that, by understanding women that will make you, it separates you from uh, the chumps and the champs, right? Previous message. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. So beauty. Let's see. So yeah, look at them as a character, right? Judge them by the character, not by face value. Even though, hey, it is important. Yeah, she does need to be attractive to me or to whoever is looking at her, right? She does need to be attractive. But what else does she have? And there's a question that I like to ask, which is, if you can use your eyes for a day, would you still be attracted to her? Okay, by her qualities. What qualities does she possess? Like, if you're like this for 24 hours, okay, is she still pretty to you? Does she have good qualities? And I'm not saying like, and I'm saying, look, you never seen this girl. You can't use your imaginations, all right? Don't cheat. But if you can't use your eyes, is she still attractive? What qualities does she possess? Use that. So that's why I always encourage men, judging by a character, not just on how they look, okay? And I know that's difficult. That's difficult for everybody, especially guys, right? And so while you're doing this, let's just say you're dating, or maybe you're in this long-term relationship, you also have to understand that maybe she is pretty and she's like the hottest girl you ever got. But guess what? You also need to understand that you're the catch too, okay? You are the catch. But see, what makes it difficult is if you never worked on yourself, and I'm not just talking about just going to the gym, all right? It's important to go to the gym, but if you never worked on yourself on trying to become a better person, then how do you expect yourself to maintain that relationship? Like, you could get attainable success, but you're not gonna get sustainable success. So it's like, how consistent can you be, right? So it's important to know that you are the catch in a relationship. You don't judge a book by its cover. Yep. And that's why these cliches, they mean a lot, right? There's a lot of meaning behind these cliches. It's because it's cliche for a reason. It's been spoken a lot, but we tend to put lesser value on it because it's like, oh, it's a cliche. We heard it too many times. Like, no, those tedious things that a lot of people say, we should pay more attention to it. Just like how you always brush your damn teeth. I hope you do. But if you keep brushing your teeth, you want to be good at brushing your teeth, right? You don't want to just like, and it's like 5 seconds and you're like, oh, you're done. Like, no, you didn't even, it's nasty. All the tedious things that you do in here, get good at those. Get good at it, right? So, but like I said, for guys, it's easy to get stifled by her beauty, right? But true beauty, like I said, is judged by their character. What are her goals? What are her values? They're always right on the money. They are, right? And your English teacher, hated it, right? So how was like the mindset of your English teacher? What, maybe, I don't know this person, right? I can't really draw a conclusion, but to really hate something, it takes a lot of energy. It really draws a lot from you, right? So now let's go back to the freedom, right? Let's go back to freedom, right? Because hey, she is pretty, she's gorgeous, okay? She's the finest girl you ever met, that you think you will ever meet, okay? Limiting beliefs, but that's why it's so important for her to do the choosing. Ladies always do the choosing, okay? So just remember that it doesn't matter how much you like her, okay? As a guy, it doesn't matter how much you like her. She don't give a fuck. All she cares about is how she feels about you. So what does it mean? What are you doing to make her feel good about you, okay? Are you displaying weakness or are you displaying strength? And if you're displaying strength, are you needy? Are you insecure? Are you blowing up her phone? Or are you trying to always find out what she's doing? And your insecurities, is it bleeding out? Is it coming out because, hey, you might be great at your job and you're very successful at what you do financially and everything, but when it comes down to relationship, you can't hold that shit down because you're insecure. Like, even the richest people in the world, Jeff Bezos, okay, I don't know that person, okay, but somewhere along the line, he It caused her to like, hey, I don't want to be with you no more. I don't know what happened, okay? But the easiest example is look at Will Smith and Jada. Okay? He's always trying to, Will, I love you, okay? But still, you know what you did wrong. But also at the same time, it's like you're trying to please her all the time. She doesn't want to be pleased. She needs to know that you're the man, that you're the winner. She doesn't want to win. She needs to know that you're the winner, right? So, yeah. Um it's important to make her choose you. And so, if she doesn't respect you, also Jada doesn't respect you, well, walk away. Walk away from it. But if you can't walk away from it, it shows that, oh, I need you in my life, and that's very unattractive, right? I see. Also, ladies need to know that you're able to walk away from her when you need to. That's what displays strength. Now, I'm not saying use this against her as a threat. Like, don't try to manipulate her. Oh, you don't want to sleep with me tonight? I'm gonna leave your ass, right? Because I got 5 other girls lined up. Like, that's manipulative, right? Just be like, oh no, like she's disrespecting you. She's saying these things. She doesn't really. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna participate in this. That's not what I subscribe to. That's not what I want. So I'm gone. Like, and if you communicate that too. Hey, look, I don't like it when you're yelling at me like that. I don't yell at you, right? First of all, I didn't expect you to be this upset, but now that you are, I would love to talk to you about certain things, but only if we could communicate without yelling at each other. And if you can't do that, let's try it another time. And I'm just gonna go, and I'm gonna go and buy my burrito. All right, I'll be back. And so you go out, you buy your burrito, you come back. She's still yelling. You let her be. You let her be. All right. Anyways, there's always a time and place for everything. That's one thing that my senior homeroom teacher, that's what he taught me. There's always a time and place for everything. So that stuck with me. Let's see. So let her do the choosing. It is always better because one, you can't get shot down. It's her choice. She wants, like, when it's her choice and she wants you, all you have to do is walk through the doors, right? Bruno Mars had it right. She leaving the door open. All you gotta do is walk through it. She opens it. You don't gotta knock. You don't gotta kick that shit down, right? She wants you to come. Why? She likes you. Why? Because you're displaying a lot of strength. You're displaying a lot of good character. You're someone with integrity. Like, that shit's rare nowadays, right? And like I said, the reason why most people don't stress about this is because they place low value into it because they don't see any good gains from it. They're like, no, I just want this. But if you really want someone that's willing to support you, a meaningful life, someone that's not like a jack in a box, that's not cuckoo, right? Then you have to work on yourself, because then you will be able to spot these people from a mile away. You're like, yo, you're hot, but come on, like I can't deal with this. This is too much. It's better to give the other some time apart. Well, so when it comes to attraction grows in space. You need distance and time away from each other to start feeling like, create that mystery a little bit. You don't want to let her know everything that you're doing, right? Then when you guys are meeting up, well, you have something to talk about, right? Same thing. Hey, what if you live together? Well, you still need time apart. So I knew somebody that lived with each other, that worked together. I was like, that's a lot. It's like, how her shit smells like in and out of work. That's a lot of shit. I hope you don't go into the women's bathroom, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean? That's a lot of fucking time with each other, right? I want my own things. I want to do my own stuff. So you go do what you gotta do. I'll be back. All right, I'll be back. You want some Chinese food tonight? I'll get some Chinese food. All right, I'll pick some up on the way home. So it's always better if so it's always doing things coming from a place of strength. It is always better to come from a place of strength. So what does that mean? It means that before you do anything, guys, especially when you're anxious, anytime you're feeling anxious about something, you want to take a step back. Am I doing this for me, or am I doing this for her? Okay. So is blowing up her phone because I don't know where she's at because I'm insecure? Is that really doing it for her, or is it really doing it for you so that you get satisfied, so that you could validate yourself or give yourself some certainty, right? Living together and working together. Now, hey, you know what? If you have great chemistry, everything works well, you love working with each other, by all means, hey, but I personally believe that everybody should have some distance apart so that they could come back and be like, so how's work? How was work, like whatever, right? You have something to talk about, right? And then you got to spice it up, change the sauce a little bit. And also you don't ever want to lock anyone down, right? So here's an example, right? You don't want to lock her down because you really want. So most guys do this. They're in this almost to a point of being exclusive. So the guy tries to lock her down, right? So let's just say you're in this dating phase. You're dating, and then you know that she still has other prospects in line, so she may or may not be sleeping with them. But then now you're like, hey, you know what? I really like you. I want to be with you. Blah blah blah. I don't want you to see other guys. That yeah, right. And it might sound cute if she really likes you, but if she's not feeling you that much and you say that, it's gonna come across as like, yo, this guy's kind of weak, right? And you're trying to lock her down. And most guys, when they try to lock her down, it isn't because he wants to lock her down because he really likes her, okay? Even though that's part of it, you could call it obsession, but he's really trying to lock her down because he doesn't want other people to have her. That is weakness. So there's a big difference between that. I have a journal when I get anxious so I can see what I'm anxious about, and that's great. That's great. And what are some of the things you're working on right now, Rosie? So moving on. Never force. You never want to force anybody on how they should be, what they should be doing, right? You could let them know, hey, like we got to do this and stuff, like. But hey, at the end of the day, if they despise it, they hate doing it, it's like don't force them to do it, all right? So you never force. So love cannot exist where there is no trust, okay? If you can't trust that person, you're always gonna be sleeping with one eye open. You're always kind of always wondering like what they're doing behind your back, right? I think I gave the story of like there's this guy, he went to work at some, I think it was like in Vegas or something. So obviously she's insecure. She's like, no, you have to stay indoor and play video games with me, because if he's playing video games with her, then she knows that he's not out doing whatever thing. You know what I mean? It's like, that's a lot of insecurity. You got to really trust that person that you're with. If you don't trust them, then why are you with them? And if you're with them and you don't trust them, and you get jealous a lot, there's a lot of projection. You're projecting a lot of your insecurities, right? It's very unattractive, right? It's very unattractive. So look, when you trust somebody and you let them come and go as you please, because you trust, like, I trust you. I know that you won't do shit behind my back, because I know that's your character. You're not the type of person that goes and entertains other guys. And you could trust me too, that I'm not going to do that too. And that is a very healthy relationship. And you guys have the same goals, same values, right? Like and then you guys have good chemistry. Like, that is fucking sexy. That is fucking sexy. Not being good enough as a daughter. As a daughter and mother, that gives me anxiety, right? So I would check pros and cons. So a lot of that is like, when you feel like you're not good enough and you're not doing this and you're not doing that, that's still a lot about you, and it's not about them, right? So if you really think about that in the sense of, hey, maybe this is not like an intimate relationship, but it's a relationship you have with your mom or your parents or your daughter or your kids, right? It's still about you. It's still about you, right? But then if you think about it, why you're anxious, if you think about why you're anxious and why you're feeling this way, then, oh, I'm anxious, I'm insecure because I'm not good at it. Well, how can you be better? That's a good question. How can you be better? Start from there, right? Like, well, I don't know if I could do this. It's difficult to connect the dots moving forward. Well, maybe are there people that has done it already that could help guide you? Is it, can you Google something? Like a lot of things could be done by yourself nowadays if you haven't, like, it's crazy how like the internet made it so accessible to learn almost like I could learn how to draw. I can't draw like Yaku, but I could draw, I could learn how to draw if I really wanted to. I'm not interested in drawing, but I'm just giving you an example, right? Like I learned how to dance better online than I did going to classes. So it's crazy. I could. Nah, no, 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 no. That's your realm. I'll stick to dancing. I'll stick to my dancing, and I'll continue to educate myself with this, with relationships. But so love cannot exist where there is no trust, and you can't really force somebody to want to be with you. You can't, right? The best thing to do is let them come and go as they please. It's like the example of like there was a sun and there was a wind, and the wind was like, well, first person that gets that person to take off the shirt or jacket wins. So the wind, I think it's like some but anyways, let's move on with that story where it's like they were just blowing and blowing, and he was like, the more he blew, the tighter you want to hold his jacket, right? But then the sun was just like, yo, I'm chilling today. I'm just gonna let him chill for a little bit, right? So he did that. There's his advantage. And so eventually he didn't force anything. He was like, yo, it's getting hot, man. So he took off his jacket and the sun won. Why? Because he wasn't trying to force shit, right? That art would be pretty fire. Dance with a brush. I seen you dance with them in Yaku. You can move. But so you can't really force somebody to want to be with you. You can only like just focus on what you did in the beginning of the relationship. That's it. Like, were you that playful guy? Were you having fun, right? Were you like asking, like, were you in a much more peaceful place? Excuse me, right? Because that's what's that type of energy that draws people in. Performing arts. So, yeah. So what you can do is you just gotta trust them, but you gotta bottom line their actions. Trust them and trust the process, right? Attraction grows in space. So, and when you force things, when you're trying to force things, what you're trying to do, you're forcing this distance, and you're trying to close the distance between her and you, just so that you could feel better about yourself, so that you're like, oh yeah, she likes me again. That's like that's some weak shit. And I'm gonna tell you this right now: a lady will always test you, no matter who you are, no matter how. Like, you could be Steph Curry, okay? I'm pretty sure. Is it what was her name? Starts with the letter A, but he's gonna test. Now, if she likes you a lot, if she has high interest, high attraction, the test is gonna be a lot more. It's gonna be a lot less. It's gonna be very minimal. And if she does test you, you're gonna pass it super easily. It's like, what's 2 + 2, right? 4. Get the cheat sheet out. Yeah, it's gonna be super easy. The test that she gives, super easy. But what makes it more difficult is when you start behaving in behaviors of, coming from a place of weakness. That's when the test is gonna become more and more difficult. And the more you fail, the more difficult it gets. It's not. There is no sympathy in that. It's are you the weakest link? All right, get out, weakest link. I'm trying to survive here. All right, you're acting like a bitch, and if you act like a bitch, she's gonna treat you like a bitch until you can man up. No symphonies. Until you can man up and be like, yo, I'm not gonna deal with this shit. Like, no, I'm not dealing with this. I'm out. And she's like, what? So yeah, so showing emotional self-control is very attractive. Okay, emotional self-control, and having this emotional capacity, right, of being able to control yourself, not being argumentative, not blaming people, not trying to be the victim all the time, right? Being certain, going for what you want, knowing what you want, and just going for it. Even though you don't have everything planned out, you're just gonna try it, and you do it with your best, and then you try to learn from the best, right? So like, one of the things that I was really proud of, and this was before I started learning, was I left. So my old Starbucks job before, right? It paid me decent ish. On top of that, I had tips, but it was like a job. I was like, man, just yeah, I get a little, a few bucks here or there per hour, but like, come on. So I left that job to go to the gym to literally just fold towels, and I was like, man, I just believed it. I was like, if I'm at the gym and I'm folding towels and I cannot afford a personal trainer, maybe I could just talk to some trainers and then get some ideas. And maybe if they can't help me right away, maybe they might have the right books. Maybe they might have the right approach on how to do this and do that. I was banking on that. Banking on those tips really. Yeah, and this was working with Justin during that time too. So it was good. It was decent, right? Like I just remember I will have like stacks of tips. Like I have a whole bunch of ones. I look like a stripper, but there was a whole bunch of ones, and I was like, yo, to a point. Like talk to Justin. Like he was like, yo, he didn't even. He was like, yo, this is how. He just find like this wad of cash like in his drawer sometimes. He's like, what the fuck, shit. Like we all had so much tip at one point. We're like, we don't know what to do with it. I mean, we weren't like balling, but like, I mean, during those days, Starbucks, it was good at the time, right? But it's like you got to move past that because I knew that I wasn't gonna grow staying there, and because I went to the gym and start folding towels, start communicating, talking to people, and yeah, I learned a lot. I learned on how to train people properly, right? So that they don't get hurt and how they can progress, and yada yada yada. The list goes on, but yeah, close to making it rain. But anyways, going back, like men, we fall in love a lot quicker, right? That's why it's so important that men are more patient. But still, how can you be patient and still move forward without coming across as being needy? That's the fine line, right? That's like how can I be confident without being arrogant or like an asshole? How? How can you do that? It's find that little area in the middle, that gray area, so that it comes across as like, all right, he's a little on the edge. I can't just say whatever I want to him, but also at the same time, he knows what he wants. It's like that really comes across, and that's your character, right? Like these are your values, and that's why, like, I value reading a book, maybe even like 10 pages, than going out to the club. Now, don't get me wrong. If I want to go out and have fun with friends, I will go. But I much rather choose to do that instead because I could gain a lot more knowledge in 10 pages than I could getting it at the dance floor. You know what I mean? What? Oh, thank you, Rosie and Yaku. All right, let's move on because I have a few minutes left. All right. So, let's see, what else do I have? So, it means being more patient as a guy because we fall in love a lot faster, right? Women, they fall in love within 6-7 weeks, maybe 8 sometimes, depending. But guys, second date, okay? I'm in love with you. That's creepy, okay? Stop that shit right now, all right? So, instead of focusing on your immediate desires, focus on having fun. Because if you're having fun, you're not really looking at like, oh my god, I'm gonna go kiss her now, right? You're just like, oh my god, you're having a great time, right? And then you could do the kiss test. The kiss test is you look at her eyes, you look at her lips, and you look at her lips, and you look back to her eyes. If at any fucking point she looks at your lips, you're in the game. Attack those lips, not too aggressively, right? Go for it. Go for what you want. Let's meet your parents. So yeah. So there, yeah, those are little things that you could do, right? Little tips and tricks. But yeah, you're not really focusing on I want to kiss her, so I'm gonna do things so I could kiss her. You focus on having fun, and when you do that, and you're having fun, she likes you, and she's all like, I wonder how how his lips taste like. You're like, you should find out. Let's find out. Come over here, right? And you grab her. Don't do that, but you know what I mean. So forcing someone to be in your life because of your own desires is conveying a sense of inadequacy. Gotta see how the future's gonna go. So the reason why insecurities is so unattractive is because it's irritating, it's over obsessing, right? Insecurity comes as this, like, I'm dependent on you for happiness and nobody wants to be your mommy. Okay, that's why you don't use your lady as your therapist. Okay, you could talk about certain things, but eventually if you keep talking about that same shit over and over, she's gonna be like, look, are you gonna do anything about it, or are you just gonna bitch and moan all day? Like, what are you doing? What are you gonna do? Right? You feel stuck. Oh, whose fault's that? That's your fault. Go figure it out. She wants a winner. Okay, she wants a winner. If you're not a winner, she's gonna choose somebody else. So participate in your own rescue. This in and out is cracking me up. Are you going in and out? So moving on. She's not your mommy, and don't be codependent. Okay, you can search that up. That's not attractive, right? And if you have somebody that's codependent, be careful. Be careful. Yeah, and insecurities is unattractive because it's like you're smothering her. Like, no, leave me alone. Do your own shit. What do you have to do? What do you have going on for yourself? Now, my last slide is freedom. Freedom. Okay, not too much. Okay, you still gotta know, like, oh, Mitchell said freedom, so I just don't do shit. Like, no, that's not it at all. Okay, freedom, okay, if done properly, it leads to monogamy. Did I just rhyme? Freedom, if done properly, it leads to monogamy. Yo, I'm a rapper. It leads to monogamy, right? Freedom, if done properly, leads to monogamy. So this is where you show your strength, right? Once your strength is displayed, you're easygoing, you're easy to get along with, you're fun, and you guys are hooking up, right? Why? Because she wants to hook up with you, because she likes you, okay? She's attracted to you. She likes the person that you are. You're having fun, right? You good with not just taking her out, but you PG-13 at the worst times. So you're not only having a good time, but you're exhibiting a lot of strength. You're exhibiting a lot of strength. Mental strength, just like a muscle you train, it is very attractive. The only thing is she can't see it right away. It's fine. She don't need to see it right away. She's gonna feel it though. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm not talking about that thing below the waist. I'm talking about this thing above the neck. All right. So mental strength, right? It's very attractive, but it's a muscle, right? It's just like a muscle. You got to train that. Okay. I don't know if your brain is a muscle, but you know what I mean. Shit, right? Train that shit. All right. It's given to you for free. Okay. Use it. Emotional capacity. I talked about it before, but emotional capacity is a measure of your ability to overcome limiting beliefs. Your ease in adapting to challenging situations and the quality of your relationships. So even if you're good at something, but you have low emotional capacity, it's going to hinder some of your things. Like let's just say you're a great artist. You could draw really fucking well and you're natural at it. But guess what? You're like, oh, you know what? Why would anyone want to look at my art? Like, there's so much better art. So I just stop. Right? Limiting beliefs, right? It's a muscle technically. It gets sore after studying. I get this brain fog or fart. I like fart more. Brain fart. You don't know if it stinks. You just don't know. So yeah, a measure of emotional capacity, a measure of your ability to overcome limiting beliefs. Okay. So are you resilient? Right? Are you resilient? Your attraction or your attraction is measured by your strength, how much emotional strength you have. So your main focus in any type of courtship and dating is to hang out, have fun, and hook up. That's it. Those are your goals, okay? Hang out, have fun. I didn't make this up. Coach Corey Wayne did. Hang out, have fun, hook up, okay? And I'm not saying that's like, oh, you have to get her into a bed. But you want to because she wants it too. Why wouldn't you want each other if you guys like each other? You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't you? That'd be stupid. That'd be stupid. right? And leave the dating labels to her, okay? Leave the dating labels, right? What are we? Who are we? What should we do? Don't worry about that shit. She's going to let you know. Well, I really like you. Oh, is it? Okay, what else? Well, I'm not seeing nobody else. Oh, really? Okay. And then have some fun with it. Like I said, have some fun with it. So I gotta delete all those numbers that I got. Like, I have like 3 left. I have 3 more numbers left. Okay. Nope. You have to delete it all. I like you. All right, fine. But can I just keep one? Can I just keep one number, right? Just in case. And then, like, banter with her a little bit, have some fun, right? And she'd be like, nope, nope, you can't have anything, right? I really like you. Well, you know what? I really like you too, Kiki. Kiki, I really like you too. Come over here, right? She comes over here, right? You grab her face. You know I'm joking, right? Don't grab her face, okay? I have half left. I'm just gonna delete half this number and see if I remember the first few digits, right? Including area code, okay? It's a little bit challenging. I remember the last 4. I keep the last 4. I might not keep the area code, right? Ludicrous. So yeah. Leave the dating labels to her. In order for a relationship to last, it is important to make the other person feel appreciated, heard, and understood. So, long-term relationships. I want to talk about long-term relationships. Most people break up because they don't feel heard, okay? They don't feel heard, they don't feel understood, they don't feel appreciated. And that's why most people break up. And for all relationships, it is better to, for all relationships, okay? This is it. It is better to be single than to be unseen or heard, okay? That's what we value, okay? Most people, eventually, if you push them too far, they will rather be single than be in a relationship being unseen and unheard. Just think about it. You're in a relationship, you're not happy. Every time you say something, he's always yelling at you. He's always saying some shit, right? Or the other way around, doesn't matter, right? You're not being appreciated, right? Somebody got to be appreciated first. And if it's not you and it's not them, no one's doing it, then what is this battle that you're having of power? That's not a good relationship, right? And so anyways, signs of low emotional intelligence is like I said before, right? Being argumentative, not listening, blaming other people, and just kind of like losing your shit. So what does this all entail? And this is my show for today. But let's kind of like summarize it. What does it mean to really give freedom in a relationship? Giving freedom in relationship is really trusting that person. Because why? You trust yourself. Why? Because you did the things necessary to build your love for yourself, your confidence up. So you started participating in your own rescue. You started, look, I might not be the strongest person. Well, I go to the gym every day, right? So you start doing that and you start educating yourself. Well, that's nice too, right? It wasn't a mutual laugh. But so that's basically it though, right? You start working on yourself, you start improving yourself. I work on myself for you and you work on yourself for me. And I trust you and you trust, and we trust each other, right? Knowing what our values are. Does it align? Does she share the same interests? Does she not? And if she does, great. Then we have something that we could move forward with. If she doesn't, let her go. That's it. Why? Because you're not in a scarcity mindset. You started working on yourself. So you really do believe in yourself. You believe that if you were to go out or she doesn't want to be with you, there will be another fun bus every 15 minutes, right? But not to use it as like a threat or anything, but it's more like, hey, you know what? If you don't see my value, that's okay. Or if you don't see her value, then hey, find it somewhere else, right? Maybe you guys aren't supposed to be with each other, but just because you have a lot of lust and you're attracted and you just want to do a lot of like things with each other, it doesn't mean you will be in love with her. If you guys are constantly arguing, and I would even say those are one of the worst relationships. It's like, just the sex is great, but you guys can't hold a conversation. Can't hold a fucking conversation, right? You go to Denny's and you can't even like have a good conversation before the food comes. Not meant to be. passenger side. Yeah, but so freedom shows a lot of strength, but it's also letting them know what you want in that relationship. Look, I want to be with you. I want to be with you. But if you don't want to be with me, that's okay. Call me when you change your mind. Let me know. But I'm not interested. I'm not interested in being friends. I have friends. Okay? I have friends. Okay? I have friends. I don't want to be your friend. Why? Because I want to do things to you. Okay? Don't say that. Okay? But I want to do things. I have things that I want to do. Okay? I have romantic interests. Okay? That's what you say. I still have romantic interest in you. Okay? That's a nicer way of saying I want to put certain things in X, Y, and Z. Right? So you say that, and you're like, but let me know if you change your mind. And then you walk away, and that's it. That's the most powerful negotiating position, is to walk away and mean it. So, even though Mitchell jokes a lot, that's the truth, right? Being able to walk away and truly mean it. And that is how you display strength. And letting them know if they violate that too much, that you're willing to walk away from it. 3 a.m. convo. The little emoji with that clap. But yeah, so that's all I got for today. I hope you guys enjoy the show. I'm gonna try. I got plans. I got plans to put my hands in places. Never, girl. You know what I mean? Yeah, you gotta be good with your hands too, right? Jack of all trades. Jack of all trades, But yeah. That was fun. I'm having this moment of collecting my thoughts together too. So, you know what I love about this is the fact that not only do I get to share with you guys, it gets my brain, like it jogs my mind a little bit, and it keeps me focused. It keeps me focused, like there's too many distractions nowadays, and just being able to focus like a full solid hour of just constantly talking about this, or an hour and a half sometimes I'm on TikTok, right? It's really, it fulfills me a lot, you know what I mean? And so I'm gonna do my best in any way possible to help the people that do need this type of help, or whatever, just like anything, right? And yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm having this brain fart. I'm also a little sore again. Okay, so, but thank you all for watching. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate that, Yaku. And for the new people in here, if you haven't seen Yaku's artwork, go check him out. Yaku, what's your art? What's your TikTok or Instagram? Can you put it down below? Yo, his art is amazing, yo. So art of Yaku, just like that. Okay. I enjoy listening. Keeps me young. Yo, Tracy, you're one of the few that like. See, okay, Tracy is a good example of like. You don't just go to therapy, or you just don't go and try to fix things when things are going bad, right? You try to do things to prevent shit from happening, right? So just because your relationship is good, well, how can you maintain it and keep it well? And this is a place. So even though you are getting attainable success, continue it. That is how you're going to live the life that you want. Okay. Yaku is the it. Yeah. Man, I need a Charizard from you though. I still do. I've been talking about it for 2 years. But yeah, preventative, right? So yeah, like I don't want you guys to ever think about like, oh, I need to go to therapy because I need help. Like, go to therapy because you're feeling good and you want to maintain that. Dr. Love Dancer. Damn, that's a lot. Doc, I'm also good with my hands too, right? Don't make me. Back problems, I got you. Shoulder hurts, I got you. It's gonna hurt. I never said it was gonna be fun, but I got you, right? You gotta be good with your hands. Continue self-evaluation. Absolutely. Good with my hands. All 10 fingers. All 10 of them. Too much information. No, it's not too much. You just got to be good with your hands, right? That's why there's a reason why my nails are always short, okay? It doesn't go past this. I don't like it when it gets too long, all right? The reason why is because when I touch, you squeeze, you don't want your nails digging in, right? It hurts. It's not comfortable, right? It drives people away. Secret hand jujitsu. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah. Freedom. Don't try to lock nobody down, all right? I might go back to TikTok. We'll see. Depends on what I'm going to do, what I'm going to eat. Nothing better than a good massage, right? There was a joke. I had a friend. Well, you know when friends just keep joking? They knew I was good with my hands. And they were like, they were just making shit up. They was like, hey, you want your back massage? Yeah, you gotta take off your pants. And he was just saying it. It's the way he said it. I can't imitate it. But the way he said it is like, it made me come across like I'm this pervert. I was like, yo, I never said that. But he was like, but you're good at it, so you could probably pull that shit off. Wearing those hands, especially. Yeah, but my hands are learning how to like click buttons and edit stuff now, and playing video games, right? All right, guys. I'm gonna head out now. I might be on TikTok in a bit. We'll see. But thank you all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. Yaku is freaking hilarious. Go follow him. Order Yaku on and Instagram too as well. All right. But share, like, appreciate. Yeah. Let everybody know. All right. Thank you. I'll see you next time. Peace.